Was North Carolina's hiring a former Patriots Super Bowl winning coach Bill Belichick a ploy to force their way into the Big Ten? It might have been. It might have been. There are people that think that this hire was made to elevate North Carolina's status as a football school. They're a basketball school, right? Now they're a football school. They got Bill Belichick. And that should make themselves more attractive to the Big Ten or maybe the SEC when the day comes to leave the ACC and they have to choose sides. I believe that was a part of the thought process for North Carolina. I do. I don't believe Belichick had any such thoughts on this subject matter on his own. I would suggest that North Carolina was kind of using Belichick for some big picture thinking. But I also believe that Belichick was using North Carolina to drum up some interest in his services in the NFL because that seemed like it dried up. So maybe they're both using each other a little bit. It happens, right? Two sides of a business deal. And it happens that they came together mutually helpful for both sides. I think it remains perplexing to Bill Belichick that he's won so many Super Bowls as a coach, and he's now gone 2 consecutive coaching cycles in this market, and it's completely dried up for him. There's no interest for him in the NFL. In fact, now I think he was holding out hope to the last minute even this year. He didn't sign his $10 million a year contract in North Carolina until last week. And that was pretty much waiting until every NFL coaching vacancy had been filled up, with the exception of the Saints. That looks like it's going to Kellen Moore, right? So once that all filled up, and there's going to be 2 full years out of the NFL, he says, all right, I'm going to sign this deal here at North Carolina. I'm good to go. I'm all in. Everybody's all in. North Carolina's all in on Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick's all in on North Carolina. And North Carolina has itself a marquee named football coach whose credentials go head-to-head with anybody in the country, college or pro. So now, North Carolina, they're all in on football. And this is the first time ever. Again, I mentioned it's a basketball school. We all know that. Now they got some football credentials behind them. And plus, hey, let's not shake a stick at the basketball history here. That'd be very attractive to the Big Ten, and bringing North Carolina in and playing, Indiana and playing all at Michigan State. It'd be great. It'd be fantastic. But football drives everything, no matter what conference you're in. So that's the deal. And now North Carolina has upped its game. So win or lose in football. Let's talk a little bit more about North Carolina. I don't pretend to know how long Bill Belichick is going to stick around at Chapel Hill. I don't know if he knows. Maybe he does know. I don't know. Or if he would bolt in an instant for an NFL opportunity next year. I think he might. But it might be fun to imagine in the meantime, as North Carolina is now this football powerhouse and Bill Belichick, and what if he was there long enough to see them move into the Big Ten? Can you imagine the boos raining down on Belichick, leading his team onto the field in the Horseshoe or the Big House on a Saturday afternoon or Saturday night? Or how about Belichick facing a whiteout in Happy Valley, facing some harassment at Autzen Stadium, or hearing Dance Around at Camp Randall, or maybe even coach a night game at Kinnick Stadium? It would be fantastic seeing Bill Belichick being part of that, and North Carolina being on that level of a football program. It would be fantastic. It would be awesome. I hope it happens someday. Again, I think that was in the background of North Carolina's thinking in hiring Belichick, with their eyes toward maybe moving to the Big Ten someday. But I don't think Belichick had thought from that angle. But if he's still here in a couple years and this thing's rolling, welcome to the Big Ten. That would be cool. All right. As signing day is here, of course, the class of 2025. One note for the class of 2026, Lincoln Riley at USC trying to help flip an Oregon quarterback commit for the class of 2026, Jonas Williams. He showed up for a visit at USC on February 1st with a bunch of 2026 and 2027 prospects. Williams gave a verbal commitment to Oregon in August, but his dad said, hey, we're keeping our options open. A lot of dads involved in all these decision-making. And of course, there's also a threat from former Trojans coach Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. He's offered this kid a scholarship as well. So pay attention to that. There may be some news coming up. In the meantime, Let's give a shout out to a bunch of our Big Ten players of the game. We used to do this every week during football season. Let's take a look at some accomplishments during basketball. And then in a couple of minutes, we'll get back to our football recruiting power rankings, if you will. But congratulations to Brice Williams of Nebraska, the Big Ten player of the week. He scored 27 points, including 8 straight in overtime, and added a season-high 8 rebounds in an 80-74 win against Illinois. He had 28.7 boards and a season-high 6 assists in a 77-71 win at Oregon as well. And Will Riley, we talked about him on this podcast here, freshman of the week for the Fighting Illini, scored a team-high 24 points, including 20 in the second half off the bench in an 87-79 comeback win over Ohio State. A freshman. His 24 points off the bench were the most in a Big Ten game this season. He added 16 points in an 80-74 overtime loss at Nebraska. This is his second Big Ten Freshman of the Week award. Having a great season. Meanwhile, with the women, co-player of the week in the Big Ten, Lucy Olson, Iowa. She's a senior, had 16 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds versus Northwestern. Had 28 points, 10 of 18 from the field, helping the Hawkeyes. Had number 4 USC, its first loss of the Big Ten loss of the season. Co-offensive player of the week, Genesis Bryant, who we've talked about here on this podcast before. I believe in our Big Ten top 10 Big Ten observations on Monday. Out of Illinois, fifth-year senior, led Illinois to a 3-0 week, including 2 road victories and the program's first ever win over Maryland. 13 points against Purdue, 28.6 rebounds and 2 assists against Rutgers, and had game-winning free throws in the upset over number 14 Maryland. That was it. The free throws at the end, that's what got her on our list of top 10 Big Ten observations on Monday. Also had 20 points and 6 for 6 from the free throw stripe and grabbed 4 rebounds versus the Terps. And finally, freshman of the week for the women, Olivia Olson out of Michigan. Recorded her first 30-point game of her career on a 13 of 19 shooting night with 4 rebounds and 3 steals and an assist against Wisconsin. Double-double, 18 points and 10 boards in 26 minutes versus Oregon, and got her second Big Ten Freshman of the Week award. Again, great year. Good job for her. As we take a look to tonight, Wednesday night, hoops, Big Ten triple header on the Big Ten Network. All Eastern times. Oregon at number 24, Michigan, 6:30, 3:30 Pacific. Number 23, Illinois is at Rutgers, 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific, Big Ten Network. And Nebraska at Washington, 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific on the Big Ten Network. But on the women's side, tonight, we got a Peacock doubleheader. Washington is at Penn State. That's at 6 p.m. on Big Ten Plus. But number 7, USC, 19-2 now. They are at Wisconsin. That's at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Peacock. And then main event at nighttime, primetime, 8th-ranked Ohio State with their 20-1 record, taking on number 1 UCLA, 21-0, 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific on Peacock. That is going to be a heck of a ball game later on tonight. So check that out. All right, signing day is here. We're going to rank the schools in the Big Ten, 1 through 25. How did your favorite school do? We'll see. We'll go through that. In the middle of the week, we always do power rankings. So we're going to power rank the recruiting trail. That's coming up next right here on Locked On Big Ten.